Matt K says, I don't recall Vic's appeal ever mentioning the fact that Judge Chupp specifically told Ty to stop objecting during the TCPA. Will the appeals court read the hearing transcript, and is it likely that they'll notice that? The answers to your question, I think your observation is right. I don't know that they wrote directly that Judge Chupp did that, and I am not the appeals drafter. So if you want to ask why they did or didn't do something, I don't know. I really do not. I know that there are several people still who think I am an attorney on this case. I am not. I never have been. I only know information that people are willing to divulge to me. I am a journalist on this case. A journalist who happens to speak the language of law, and that's about it. As far as like what the strategic decisions are, couldn't tell you. As to the next part, will they read the hearing transcript? I don't know if they will read the entire transcript. The hard part about the appellate briefs is that there are large sections of the transcripts and other places and other documents that are cited, but they're cited as part of the clerk's record. And without specifically going through each of those citations and pulling up the referenced article or the referenced section from the clerk's record, I don't know what's in there. Now, I have the clerk's record, and that is something I could theoretically do. It just would take forever. I don't know if that's something people want to like actually explore at some point. Because it would be tediously boring to go through and look at what every citation is, but we can do it. Like I said, I have a copy of the clerk's record that was used. So, we could pull up the references piece by piece, but I can tell you citation tracking is one of the most mind-numbing activities on the planet, and you would probably hate it as much as me. Whether or not they'll read that section of the hearing or all of the hearing, I don't know. I don't know that it's not really raised as an appeal point that the judge acted improperly specifically during the hearing. So I think what they're resting their laurels on is the idea that the rest of it was reversible, and that something like that is just incidental to the overall poor conduct or the poor conduction of the hearing. Okay. Bad Vibe says, the single most important part of the Vic case is to remember that the defendants and their allies did not seek due process. They used public outrage to cancel Vic, and they continue to attack anyone that interacts with him. That is something that needs a little bit of saying. Let me say it. Let me say it this way. Bad Vibe said it well. Let me add on to that. The purpose of the TCPA is to suggest that someone is using a lawsuit to silence their detractors. That they're using the power of the courts to silence someone and prevent them from their public participation. Never once did Vic attempt to silence anyone. He never asked for an injunction or a gag order. He never asked for them to stop speaking. He never invoked the court for anything related to the speech of the other parties. And he could have. He could have asked the court to have a restraining order about them saying specific things or doing anything. He could have asked the court for any number of things. It probably wouldn't have worked out very well, but he could have done that. He never did. It's actually something that happens with frequency in defamation cases. They ask the court to step in and stop people from continuing to damage their reputation with false allegations and stuff like that. He never asked the court to do that. Never asked anyone to be silent. However, the defendants in this case utilized the TCPA and social bullying to prevent Vic's story from coming out, to prevent the evidence from coming out, to prevent Vic from getting the evidence to back up their claims. They have consistently and repeatedly stated for now 18 months that they can prove their allegations. Yet, they have consistently and repeatedly refused to do so because they are cowards, they are liars, and they know it. And there's nothing else to say about that. Weirdo with a cello says, what's the courtroom policy on cosplay in terms of distance from regular clothes? Could Vic charm his way to an exception? And would Monica get shot by a bailiff for dressing as any character, including herself? Okay. Courtroom policy on cosplay is follow the rules of court decorum, which I believe most of them say no jackets, like overcoat type things, and no hats. Other than that, a court preventing you from showing up in cosplay may be a violation of your free expression. So they can't really do that. However, I would suggest that if you are distracting to the court in some sort of way, that you will probably be removed. Politely asked to leave. Could Vic charm his way to an exception? Quite possibly. I think Chup could go gay for Vic. And would Monica get shot by a bailiff for dressing as any character, including herself? Yeah, absolutely. Ange says, Vic case AMA. As far as people in the anime dub industry who actually support Vic, would it only be good to publicly support him if Vic might need more fuel against the other voice actor / Funimation for the case? There's no benefit. There's no benefit for another voice actor to support Vic, unfortunately. The way the industry's set up, anyone who publicly supports him is going to get crucified. I wish it weren't that way, but it is. I think that's clear. I've talked to voice actors who range from, I support Vic, he's a good guy, no, he didn't do any of this stuff, to, I really wish Vic had his day in court. That's all. Like, that's all they want, Vic to have his day in court. And even those people, even the he deserves a day in court people, are afraid to even say that. Because if you say that, well, you saw what happened to Ruben Langdon or whatever. A neutral position is enough to get you canceled. Jay says, how likely do you think you are to be subpoenaed by the wife beater again? Very likely. Very likely. And it will be a fun thing. I think even if Vic loses, there is a likely outcome. A likely outcome that Ron comes after me. And I cannot wait to waste that little marmot's money. I will waste all of it. I will do nothing but waste his money. And I will do it within my legal right to do so. Nothing nefarious. Nothing below board. Everything on balance. But I will waste every fucking red cent you want to spend, you idiot. All right. Jay continues, I still think the funniest part of the lawsuit is all the lawyers who thought they'd get awarded the GoFundMe and Lemoyne getting cucked on agency by Martinez. Yeah, anyone who thought they were going to get the GoFundMe was an idiot. A judge can't just take money. All the judge can do is order Vic to pay something. Can't take money for a GoFundMe. That would be silly. People donated money to a specific purpose. The judge can't just repurpose that.